Hi, I'm Patricia. Welcome to the 40th episode of A Breath of Song. I'm so glad you chose to do this today, which is extra special because Moira Smiley is joining us for a songwriter conversation. Hi, Moira, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Patricia.
We are here to find powerful wellness, one song at a time. Trust me, your voice is just the ticket for this. I'm coming to you straight from my home in what is now called Thetford, Vermont, on the unceded lands of the Abenaki. And Moira, tell us where you're calling from.
I am also on the unceded lands of the Abenaki, and this is now called Bristol, Vermont.
All of our voices will turn up as they are today. And no matter what, we can feel the connection to our breath and vibration in our body. Let's find how good it can feel to sing. Last week I shared Moira's song, Stand in That River. Today Moira will be teaching us another beautiful song of hers called?
Well, I think it's called Render a Remedy.
Render a Remedy. Fabulous. We will learn it slowly so it can settle inside you and you can begin to trust it as a resource. Let it move you into a state of flow. Then we get to enjoy a conversation with Moira, and we'll close out with the song again at the end. You'll always be able to find this episode on the website, abreathofsong.com, or wherever you get your podcasts, and listen as many times as you'd like. So let's start with a good yawn stretch. Maybe roll your shoulders a bit. Stretch into your back, whatever feels good. You may have just heard my cat sneeze. And let your body start to hum as you're moving. And feel the breath moving in and out. Start to notice how it can expand your ribs. And stretch into your back. Let it release your face, your lips, soften your jaw. And let's do some oohs and ahs, just sliding up and down your slippery spine. And Moira, I'll turn it over to you to share the song, the brand new song.
I'm excited and really nervous because I'm sharing with you guys and with Patricia this song that's not done yet. And I have had such a pleasure working on it with a loop pedal. And so I'm going to sort of share the process of it with you. First, maybe I'll show you. It's just a really short loop. And the story behind it is that I sang the melody into my phone a couple of weeks ago. And that melody is render a remedy. Render a remedy. So that's the key to the whole thing. And when I brought it to my loop pedal, I wanted to build stuff around it. And I encourage you, this is sort of like, I think I came up with this partly thinking about Patricia's podcast, because it's about healing and about becoming some part of some solution, something that moves us toward each other and toward feeling better. So that encourages you as a listener to also make up your own parts. And eventually this song will have verses and will have kind of a through line and a story. But for the moment, it is actually a lot about the chant that I sometimes wish I could sing maybe in the morning, or something to soothe myself, especially when I'm full of doubt. So I'm going to start out with with just a little, that was my microphone getting hit by my piano, but with a little repeated chant that I'd love you to join me on. And it starts on B flat. So it goes, sorry, I'm just forgetting now how it goes. Oh yeah, you make. So it goes, each day you make a little light. So it goes, 1. Each day you make a little light. 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 That's the whole thing. So I'm kind of doing 4 of those in a row. And we could have, it's sister harmony, just a third above. Each day you make a little light. 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 And just a step above that too, for a full chord, we have each day and each day and each day. 2, 3, 4. Each day you make a little light. 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 Cool. So those are things that we can return to in the texture. So you've heard the beginning melody, that render, a remedy, and then you have this chant, each day you make a little light. And there's a more melodic version of this as well. So you have those chants that just stay on one note, and then a more melodic version of that is, each day you make a little light. 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 So that's that one. So that goes underneath that set of notes that you just do pulsing and don't change a note. Each day you make a little light. So I'm going to actually put that on, and let's see if we can record all those in the loop pedal. So each day you make a little light. 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 So you have those 3. And then I'm going to add in these other parts that I've shown you, and that I'm going to sing the each day you make, that one. So actually I'm going to stop and I'm going to start again just to make sure I'm at the beginning. 2, 3, 4. Each day make a little light. Each day, you make a little light. Each day 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 you make a little light. And then we have Render. A remedy. Render. A remedy. Third above. Render. A remedy. And sing whatever part you want. We'll just turn on both of those loops. And you hear above all of this my kind of calling voices there. I'll sing those for you so you can add those if you want. If you don't feel like singing lyrics. So just sing a little bit along to this. We'll do it a couple more times. Make up a new part. And I'm going to strip it down to just this. Let's make a little sound up over just that kind of drone. One step at a time, step at a time, 1 foot after the other, 1 foot after the other. One eye opens and then another, 1 foot after the other, 1 foot after the other. Each day, each day, each day, each day, I'm gonna start fading it down. Okay, there she goes.
Oh,
so there you go. Just a little playing, just a little bit.
That is yummy. That is really yummy.
I think it's going to be something good, you know? I think it's still got, it's got those first little legs that just want to dance in place, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm wondering if we could do it again right off, if you have energy for it, if we could do it again right off. And this time, because now we kind of know the different parts, maybe without the guiding.
Yeah.
Just bring the parts in one at a time.
Yeah.
and let
Cool.
us sing along and join, and
Yeah.
give us a chance to really get lost in it, because it seems like a beautiful space to get lost in.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so let's start with this just one note that we're going to sing, and we're singing the words, each day we make a little light. 2, 3, 4. Each day we make a little light. 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 Render. Each day we make a little light. A remedy. Each day we make a little light. Render. A little light. Each day we make a little light. A remedy. Take it away. Do whatever improvisation works for you. Step at a time, one foot after another. Start fading it down. Thank you.
That whole idea of a remedy, that whole idea of making a little bit of light each day. You know, I describe A Breath of Song as being a podcast about sharing songs that help us uncover the wellness that's already there inside of us.
I remember reading that, so I love that, I love what you're doing, and I think this song might have sprung from thinking about talking with you.
Then I take it from that maybe your experience of singing is a healing experience. Is that true?
Yeah. I think my voice has always been my protector, even since I was little. And it was always very strong and bright and loud and piercing, and I'm sure really annoying to some people, and also a guide. And so I think, yeah, it even stayed strong through my 20s when I was getting really sick with Crohn's disease, and I could rely upon it to keep going. And as I think about it now, I realize that my voice has been a helper to me. And it was like a physical manifestation of being able to fight off sadness and fear. And then I think it's more recently that I've discovered that it's really also a way, it expresses my heart, of course.
Are your memories of singing before you were diagnosed with Crohn's, or before it started appearing, and then afterward, are they very different? Did it feel different in your body at all? Yeah.
They are. Yeah. I think for a long time there was, and I talk about this, I've sort of tried to express this in some songs, but I think that I at some point severed my mind-body connection and had a really strong will to do things that maybe my nervous system or my body was uncomfortable with, things like staying up really late, just all the things you do as a young musician. And I took risks, and I think I pushed myself despite my body's warnings. And I would say when I was younger, there wasn't that sort of separation between mind and body as much. But I was also, I was scared a lot as a kid, I think, but also I was defiant against that. And my voice is such an expression of that, I feel. It's a bright, strong, pushing voice. And I think only in my 30s and my 40s now is it starting to be lots of other things too.
Yeah, that's interesting, because having listened to your earlier music as well, I can hear that description as bright and strong, and it seemed to be a really good fit for Balkan music and the edge, sort of right on the edge and just holding that edge.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have said that about what you just sang with us at all.
Right. Yeah. And I think there were other traditions that were tapping into the more melancholy, the more vulnerable. I would say Irish singing started feeling expressive of that early on, and yeah, for sure, in making songs and making new songs, being a composer and a songwriter, you get to try to come from the softness within, or whatever is within. So that's probably part of me sharing today something that's not finished, that's just a seed of an idea that has a really lot of tenderness in it.
You have immersed yourself really deeply in so many different folk traditions. Appalachian, Irish, Eastern European, and you combine this with fluency and with knowledge in early music as well, and experimental new music, and you have this huge breadth as a composer and as an artist. I'm wondering, what you were following as you went into those different traditions.
I was being useful to other people. In some cases, being a singer was being an important part of a building, like it was showing up and being a strong member of the chorus.
Yeah.
That was a lot of it. And then also expressing, I think I was following the fearlessness that I heard in folk traditions, that unsentimental, almost expressionist way of using song to talk about the everyday and not to be precious about it. And I think that, as a musician, as a sort of what I call orthodox musician, I need to have surprise, like music needs to deliver for me surprise, fineness, something that like tickles the unexpected. And I think that has been a driving force for me. I'm seeking that. I'm seeking those things.
Beautiful. Yeah. And how beautiful to feel that your voice is a gift and a gateway.
Yeah, it is true. That's a lucky, that is a gift. Yeah.
Tell us one of the earliest song memories that you have.
Okay, so one of them is sitting at the piano and making up a song about a postman and flowers and cake.
Important things, all important things.
Yeah, very important things to like a 6-year-old. So that was one of my first memories. And another one was a couple years later when I heard a children's chorus from Yaroslavl, and Yaroslavl, Siberia was the sister city to Burlington. And there, during the children's art exchange between Russia and the U.S., there was an exchange of choruses, and I was transfixed by these young singers, and that kind of changed the course of my life, even before I met the wonderful Northern Harmony, Village Harmony crew. Yeah. Yeah.
What is the first sound that you usually make in the morning now?
I was thinking about this today because I wake up before my partner Seamus Egan. He is a multi-instrumentalist and his creative time is at night. So I often will end up going to sleep a little before and waking up a little before. And so I'm pretty quiet in the morning, so as not to, disturb. And so I've been longing for and dreaming of making a space where I can just howl and do whatever I want. So maybe this spring and summer I'm going to build that space. Because I think that's what I would really like to do, is have a sort of, a place to play.
I've heard from people who listen to this podcast who say to me, I've had to stop listening to your podcast, at X time because my family is around and they're all like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's really interesting how our voices are they're such an intimate instrument, but they also, they are present to other people. They make sound, right? They make noise.
Yeah. And they are and in intimate spaces often, And I was thinking about that in light of talking with you today. I watched a show last night that talked about there was a huge pottery industry in the UK. And one of the women who did hand painting on these ceramics said, well, yes, it was really long hours. We were very exacting, but we had song. We could sing together. And there was sort of pictures of these giant rooms of people working on pottery. And I was like, oh, I wish that I could hear that sound. And we don't all sing together these days that much. I think that used to maybe happen a bit more. That instead of, somebody saying, oh, I had to turn the podcast off, because my family was there. Maybe the family would have joined in, but we're sort of not at that point right now with music, with singing. I would say maybe if we turned on a pop song and everybody would be like, yeah, I'm going to sing along to that. And I've got some dance moves, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's true. And there's a whole genre. I don't know if you really call it a genre, but there's work songs, using songs to feed your work and to make work go by faster and to set a communal rhythm. And it's hard to come up with work songs for computers, for typing on the computer and editing stuff.
It's so true.
You can't really type in time or whatever.
It's true. Yeah. It's like you would have to do, I don't know. It's more like you would have to create little step dances underneath the desk instead.
So what are some of the ways you take care of yourself other than singing?
I had, before the pandemic started, I started taking dance classes with a woman named Linda McEwen, and I've continued to do that on Zoom. And the thing I love about these dance classes, they're really simple choreography, but she moves very beautifully, so she's very inspiring. And it just never fails to make me grin. I'm always finding a crazy grin on my face halfway through. So that's one way. It's been pretty consistent.
I love that that's movement. It's really interesting because your arrangement of Hattie Ledbetter's song, Bring Me Little Water, Sylvie, incorporates body percussion. I understand by Evie Layden.
Evie Layden, yeah.
It's a huge hit in the choral world. It's got a wide variety of groups, right? Children's choruses sing it. The U.S. Navy band Sea Chanters covered it, did a great YouTube video of it. Universities, professional groups, and I did it with my chorus in 2016. And the body percussion, the movement, was so intimidating for many chorus members. When I first introduced it, they were like, what? We are going to do what? Are you serious?
Yes.
And they loved it by the end, by the time we got to the end. But it was definitely difficult for people to feel comfortable and relaxed.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, when I watch your videos and see you moving, you have such an easy physical presence and body awareness that I see. Has that always been the case? Has that developed for you as you've done dance? What helps you connect with and trust your own body?
Yeah, I think I would say that I have some coordination, but I wouldn't say I'm athletic. And dance for me has always been intimidating because if I get into a class, I don't learn the choreography quickly. Somehow my brain scrambles people's movements and I become really, I have trouble with weight shifting and that kind of thing. So I get stuff wrong. And so I guess I've always had some small level of grace, but I think I also, I'm not a kinetic learner necessarily, or maybe it's that the visuals. I'm not sure exactly, but I think for me, the reason maybe that I got to bring body percussion deeper into the choral world was that I wasn't great at it, and so but I had some small measure of grace that I could break it down for others and make them feel like maybe they could do it too, even if they hadn't been, if they're not kinetic learners or dancers.
So do you find yourself bringing that kind of understanding of what it's like to not have something come easily into your work with singers, when you work with different choruses of all different levels and skills? Have you found that that's informed the way that you work with other singers?
Yeah, I think I have definitely had enough teaching throughout my life, or that where I've been asked to teach throughout my life, that I have absolute authentic empathy with any trouble with singing and with, moving. There is no judgment. I mean, I guess what would happen to me as a teacher sometimes is that I get impatient with a lack of commitment, a lack of being willing to go to the edge. That's where I find myself being flustered as a teacher with somebody or with a group. But yeah, I relate strongly to not being able to do things. Yeah.
And it sounds like you also have really have a history of really pushing through. I mean, living with Crohn's disease, you have to be in physical discomfort. I am assuming from my friends who have it, you're in physical discomfort a fair bit of the time. So trying to navigate that, being willing to step out anyway.
Yeah, I think for me, I had a lucky, actually it was during singing, and from a choir leader that handed me a book that said, hey, you should try maybe doing this diet, which really basically restricts carbohydrates. But that was the real healing factor. But I would say you're right. I have learned to persist, sometimes to my detriment, but I think to sort of push through and try to learn has been my MO. And so actually, because of that, on the flip side, I love to improvise and I love to feel like I'm free to just work with the tools that I already have and just play. So I really encourage that too. And I want to have more of that in my life. Yeah.
You have sung with a roster of amazing artists. I honestly, Moira, I don't read people's biographies during the show because I want to spend time with your individual voice, right? And so with your relationship with your voice. So I don't do that. And it's a good thing because if I did that, I would be so intimidated I probably couldn't talk after it was done. You just have this incredible roster of artists you've sung with. Do you have...
I've been lucky.
Well, they've been lucky too. Do you ever have days when you don't feel good about your voice? And if you do, how do you reset or what do you do to move through that time?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And yes, I of course do. Part of the challenge of being a singer is that your instrument is your body. And so I also discovered by being sick at the very sort of bottom, and I would say, I have to say, I'm feeling pretty much healed from Crohn's, although that's the kind of thing that could come back. But when I was really sick, I really started to see how much willpower and how much energy it takes to sing. So I think I am learning only in the last few years to rest. That rest is actually part of the job. So that's the way that I reset, is I sleep. And I also I think another way that I can get knocked back is that I want my voice to make a difference. And sometimes I feel like it doesn't, that there's no ability for me to, I think that I feel my smallness sometimes, and then I start to feel unable to sing. Then people kind of bring me out of that. I think also just the pandemic was really bad for that, in that I didn't get to interact with other people's bodies. And that really is helpful to me, that when I'm in a room with other people's bodies that are in the act of singing, in the act of finding joy, focusing, that is so healing to me. And so in the pandemic, I actually felt like a worse singer than I had in many years. So realizing that, the importance of that connection in person was really helpful for me to not feel bad about my voice.
My chorus was made of people who didn't consider themselves singers necessarily, who wouldn't self-identify as a singer. But the experience of being in a room with each other and having voices support each other, and you feel the vibrations, the physical, just the physics of sound, the overtones in the room, and the way that your body responds. Our bodies want to be in tune with each other. And there's something very, very satisfying about that.
Yeah, and I think that the body percussion really lends itself to that too, because we move together. It's an entrainment that feels good, feels nice. Yeah.
So during the pandemic, one of the things that you did, thinking about your voice making a difference in other ways as well, in 2021, you did an interview with Braver Angels.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a group that tries to bridge the partisan divide by promoting conversations between people who identify as blue and people who identify as red, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll put a link in the show notes to the interview. And you identified as a progressive liberal in the course of that interview. Mm-hmm. And the questions were from a host who identified as solidly conservative. Could you tell us a little bit about what that experience was like for you and what made you choose to accept the interview offer?
It was such a wonderful way into that. My friend Micah Handler, who runs the Jerusalem Youth Chorus, has been associated with Braver Angels and suggested the link between us. And I initially felt myself to be nervous about it. My assistant actually found an article, and as we were looking, to do the interview, that connected that organization to somebody that had beliefs that I was strongly against. But then we had a conversation about that, and the conversation was so good, that I thought, okay, I need to. This is a perfect exercise for me to learn more, to not just be so emotional and about my beliefs, and to step back from them, because I'm going to be more useful if I can do that. And so I'm just at the beginning of that, but I believe strongly in that active conversation that Braver Angels represents.
So many of us wish to change our world to be more inclusive and more equitable. And because COVID threatened people's safety, I think it seems to have divided people even more deeply.
Yeah.
People who ordinarily manage to get along have found themselves angry and confused by the choices other people have made.
Yes.
And there's so much conflicting advice and information about what the best course of action is. And as someone who has a deep history of gathering diverse people in single rooms, what do you see as next steps as we're coming into the spring of 2022? We're 2 years away from the first lockdown.
Yeah. Well, I have a project that I'm really excited about pushing forward, and the working title is The Pool. It's going to be a song cycle, but it's going to be very crowdsourced. So I'm going to write it. It's basically about, it's asking questions and telling stories, coming up with some stories about our relationship with identity and virtual life and our devices, our phones, and making a song cycle that tells these stories also, perhaps, and I think I want to do this, referencing these 4 Greek characters of Narcissus, Nemesis, Tiresias, and Echo. Now, Narcissus, I am referencing maybe most obviously because I think of our devices, our phones, our social media as like the new pool, the new gazing pool. Like Narcissus couldn't tear himself away from this pool. I've started working with this group called Kaleidoscope, which is a very intentionally diverse classical vocal ensemble. And so we'll do the first work of the concert that will premiere this, but also each of us will be working with our students and getting stories about identity and the confusion of the virtual world, and finding truth and finding sources, and that practice that we have to do now as human beings. So this is the way I'm trying to go forward, is with a project that I collaborate with people of diverse ages and colors and backgrounds, and try to make some art from it.
That sounds beautiful. That sounds beautiful. It's very exciting.
Thank you. I know it sounds like a crazy mess also.
It sounds huge. It sounds like a huge
cool
thing
yeah.
to pull together. So
yeah.
I'm curious, how do you, in this age of social media, where it's no longer about albums, and since the pandemic, it's no longer about concert halls, filling concert halls, how do you evaluate your own work? You know, their sales, their YouTube
Such
hits,
a good,
you know, what,
oh my gosh.
And at some point, that just kind of drives you crazy, right? I mean, I know from watching my podcast, which is minuscule, right? But I still, it's so addictive to watch the numbers and to say, oh, wow, 180 people have listened to that episode. And, you know, and how do you step away from that to where you're really looking at the work itself?
This is the big question. Because that's part of what I want to address in the pool, in this song cycle, and the gathering of stories, because I want to hear other people and their solutions and their confusion about this, like what you're talking about. Because one of my stories is that I feel like I've gone on what I call a bender. I feel like I've gone on a bender after I release a single, because you spend this weird time looking at numbers and trying to think, measuring your value almost entirely by these numbers. It's a really weird thing. And I don't know if our brains are equipped for this, to be able to separate, you know, IRL, in real life value, from this other value, especially as artists that are supposed to be pleasing other people or informing or attracting other people to you, to your work. So it's a really deep question. And I mean, I think the thing that keeps me grounded is doing things like being outdoors and being around people and fighting through my introversion to go and hang out with people and letting my feelings get hurt, you know, in real time, in real places. So I think that is, that's all I know thus far, but I think I'll be hearing a lot more ideas in the coming year.
Well, I look forward to hearing them.
Seriously.
Because I think it's a real,
I think also that we can, you know, and some of your other guests are so wonderful in this way. Like I'm thinking of Lissa, and just remembering the local. As we feel, I think that anybody who has sort of a liberal mindset has had some real heartbreak in the last months. And so we have to find other ways to be strong, to be leaders, to have agency. And so doing work on the local level is feeling appealing to me. I'm going to start a community chorus here in sort of middle North Vermont, and just try that for 12 weeks and feel what that feels like to me. And also there's a refugee organization that's nearby that I want to get in touch with and volunteer with. So those are kind of the things that occur to me to get out of the numbers and the
to get into the real people connection. Are there other projects that you have right now that you're excited about that you'd like to share?
My mind has been so on this song cycle of the pool that I haven't really...
It sounds big enough to take up a whole mind.
It's been big. Yeah, but I think the other things are, continuing to work on a solo show, which sort of makes me very, very easy to travel. I can offer something in all kinds of situations. So working on that to do what I wish to do, because I feel in the solo shows thus far that I haven't hit my stride as far as the balance of things I want to express. So that's something I am excited to work on. And then I've got some commissions coming in from some professional choirs that will keep me busy across the next couple of years. And in the next month, I'm going to have my secular liturgy premiered by Craig Hella Johnson. And yeah, I did write for Conspirare, but this is with another group he directs called the Cincinnati Vocal Arts Ensemble. And so that was a big project that I'm excited to hear. Yeah.
Yay.
And I did a song. Well, I don't even know if I should say this. I'll whisper it. But Lissa has a record coming out. Lissa Schneckenberger has a record coming out, and I have something to do with something on there. So that's fun. That's local and delightful.
Okay. Are you set to go into lightning round questions?
Oh, yes. That's right. Oh, goodness.
Okay, so these go relatively fast.
Okay.
Here we go. What's an album that was really important to you?
Night Song by Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan.
What's your favorite soup?
I love all soups, but carrot ginger.
What is your favorite replacement curse word so that Apple won't come down on us and take away our family-friendly rating?
I think I say scheisse sometimes. Seamus says dag, sometimes dag instead of damn. So scheisse. Yeah.
What's a sound that you feel strongly about?
I feel strongly about the calling voice. So that wild outdoor way of singing.
Can you demo it?
Hey! Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Or
Across
even
the
fancier.
Alps.
Yep, Alps. Mountains are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is an artist that you wish more people listened to?
Shara Nova comes to mind. She has a project called My Brightest Diamond, which I think is brilliant. Yeah, Shara Nova.
Wonderful. And of course, there will be links to all of these things in the show notes so that people can follow up with them.
Cool.
Before we close, where can people go to find your music and follow your project?
Thank you for asking. And I have a website that's my name, MoiraSmiley, so MoiraSmiley.com. And you can also find me on social media, and those are all under my name, just MoiraSmiley. Yeah, and you can find all kinds of things there, sheet music and hoodies and water bottles.
Hoodies!
Who knew? So yeah, that's the place.
A huge thank you to you, Moira, for coming
Thank
on
you.
A Breath of Song. And a huge thank you to you, our listeners. I'm so glad you're singing with us. Let me remind you that sharing this podcast with your friends really makes a difference. Visit abreathofsong.com to see the show notes with all those links and lyrics and Patty Petrowski's glorious artwork. The lyrics for this one might be pretty brief and quick. You may know them already in your head, but you can still be reminded. Sign up to get artwork and music in your mailbox. How beautiful is that? Leave something in the tip jar to help cover costs. Before I'm paid, 25% is donated to the Jazz Foundation of America, which directly supports jazz, blues, and roots musicians in need. The skill and artistry of these musicians has directly shaped most of the music that I share on this podcast, yet historically they have been inadequately recognized and unfairly recompensed by people in power. This is a small step toward equity that we can take together. I'd love to sing again.
Yeah.
And
let's do it.
Let it sink in a little more deeply.
Okay. Would you like to do it with the loop pedal or
I think with the loop pedal. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's just I've saved what we just did, so let's just do it with that again, and I can sing close each part.
And maybe turn the looper up just a smidgen. It seems very quiet in my ears. It might not be as quiet on the recording.
Yeah. Okay.
But
so here we go. How does that sound? Okay, so we're going to start simple. Each day we make a little light. Each day we make a little light. Each day we make a little light. Each day we make Each day we make a little light. 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 Ooh, random. Each day we make a remedy. Each day we make a little random. Each day we make a remedy. Each day we make a little light. 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 Each day we make a little random. A remedy, a remedy, a remedy.
Thank you for joining Moira and me today for A Breath of Song. I'm grateful that you are taking care of yourself and listening to your own voice. I believe making a better world starts with tuning into ourselves and each other, which is what we just did. So yay us! If you're liking this podcast, please share with a friend, and next time we'll plant another song. Be well.